Day 58, 10,769 verses left. The end of Jeremiah's got to be one of the most depressing sections in the whole Bible. And given everything that we saw in Judges on day 17 to 19, that is saying something. Jeremiah gives messages to 10 different nations describing how they're going to be completely devastated. And he saves the worst stuff until last when we get to the Babylonians. He tells the Philistines they'll be attacked until fathers abandon their own children. He tells the Moabites they'll be destroyed because they trusted in riches, and that the whole city will go about with their heads shaved and all dressed in sackcloth as they wail and mourn. The Ammonites are told they'll become a mound of ruins and that everyone will be driven away. He says to Edom that they should all hide in caves and that their whole land will be an object of horror. Damascus are told that their young men will fall in the streets and that the city will be set on fire. Kedar and Hazor are told that their land will become desolate and that all their tents will be stolen. To Elam, he says that they'll literally be blown away by the four winds, but eventually they'll be restored. Then about Babylon, Jeremiah says they'll be plundered, drunk with terror, totally overthrown. They'll be rolled off cliffs, destroyed like Sodom and Gomorrah, fatally wounded in the streets. When Jeremiah's finished recording all this, he gives it to Sarai, the chief priest, to read to the Babylonians before he gets executed. The book of Lamentations you'll read tomorrow is also thought to have been written by Jeremiah, and it describes the terrible suffering of those in Jerusalem. Children die from starvation in the arms of their mothers, and it's even said that some of them cook their own kids. Princes are hung up by their hands, and it says that their skin shrivels on their bones. All of this is stuff that God warned them would happen if they followed other gods in Deuteronomy 28 on day 15. There's famine and destruction and death by the sword, and the question is asked as to whether God has completely and utterly rejected his people. But there are two tiny little slivers of hope at the end of Jeremiah and in the middle of Lamentations. There's a few verses in chapter 3 that remember that God loves his people and that because his compassion never ends, it's still worth waiting for him to rescue them. And at the end of Jeremiah, the king is released, so there's still a chance that Israel will survive. Whew! Tune in tomorrow for the last and probably the craziest major prophet.